Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pig City Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zackery, Ivey, and beside me is my longtime buddy, my longtime pal from Massachusetts today. Not sure, but anyways, introduce yourself and we'll hop right into this.
All right, yeah, it's me, Alexander Walker. I'm back, and all I gotta say is go Sox.
All right, so not a baseball pod, but for some reason he decided to wear baseball accessories today. But Alexander, we'll start this like we always do. But this is the last week without regular season NFL football. So I'm very, very excited. A week from today, our playoff prediction pod comes out where we go through all of our teams in each AFC and NFC division and both the conferences together to make our Super Bowl picks, our playoff picks. Again, these are preseason predictions, people. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. But at the end of the day, it's preseason. We don't really know what's going to happen, but we're going to keep up with everything throughout the whole entire NFL season. Alexander, before we get into it, let's answer the question. How you feeling today, man?
Feeling pretty great, My baseball team, doing really good. Just beat the Yankees, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty high.
All right. Hopefully they win the series. You just gave away when this is exactly being recorded, but hey, it's fine. Whatever. All right. Not a whole lot's going to change between
Didn't
now
know
and
that
then.
was a big deal.
It's not, but you might have jinxed your team if they lose the next few games, is what I'm saying. They didn't win the series.
How did I jinx it? I told you before that the series even started. We were winning the series, possibly sweeping the series.
Yeah, and you just said it on live TV. Anyways, we are not live, but regardless. Today we have
it is downpouring outside.
Interrupt me again and see what happens to this industry. Today we are doing the AFC East. It is East Week, the last two divisions as we started, or we will end with the NFC East. Yeah, that'll be coming this week. Alexander, you want to walk us through the teams and how they finished last year?
All right. Yeah, last place team in the AFC East last year was the New England Patriots at 4-13. Then it was the New York Jets. Almost said Giants. That was bad. They finished 5-12. Then you had your Miami Dolphins. They finished 8-9. And then in first place, the Buffalo Bills at 13-4. Last year they just dominated this division.
Yeah, and honestly, they have for the last several years. Obviously not the same postseason success, and we'll get into that more in the postseason pod. But as the Patriots, but kind of the same. Just they haven't had a lot of competition for this division either in the last couple of years. I know a few years ago we tried to go with the Jets or the Dolphins. But it's kind of just been the Bills' division, especially with Josh Allen the past two seasons just taking total control. So one narrative we're going to have as we discuss all these teams is, are any of these teams good enough to make the playoffs besides the Bills? And are any of these teams good enough, or is their ceiling high enough to dethrone the Bills? The early leaning obviously is no, and that's probably where I'm going to land. But there are some things we both like about a couple of the teams in this division. So there is a lot to talk about with these teams, even if the overall outlook doesn't seem super positive for all of them. So as we go through this, just as a reminder, we're going to be giving our personal opinions. This is not factual, meaning if we say something and you disagree with it, just let us know what you actually believe. Don't just say, hey, that's crazy. We've been getting a lot of comments with no responses. Now, I won't go into a rant about that. But Alexander, this New England Patriots team, 4 wins last year. They tried out the last experience with the former player. They moved away from it and moved to a different one who's been a successful head coach in Tennessee. They add Mike Vrabel. You have Drake May potentially making the next step coming to his own. He's starting to get a lot of love for just quarterback play in general, what he can be. They go out and add Stephon Diggs, who he had some off-season storylines that maybe weren't football related, but hey, he likes to have a good time, I suppose. They add Kyle Williams, but they have a really weird receiver room. But they add a star running back, a guy that you and I both love. I believe we had him as the number 2 running back in the class. Coming from you as someone who likes the Carolina players, you had him even above him, I believe. And that is Travion Henderson, who will, I think, take the lion's share of the backfield with Mr. Fumbles a lot, Ramondre Stevenson. That is the overall fantasy outlook as far as just the skill position players. And then you got Henry and a few others maybe that slot in at tight end. But when you look at this team, is there anybody that stands out to you of just like, hey, this guy has to play obviously, quarterback's important, but, like, this guy has to play well for them to be not just more than a four-win team because I believe, and I'm almost positive of this, no team won less games and was projected for more. They had the biggest difference as their win total has moved up into the nines. We currently have it at 9.5. They would have to win 6 more games this year. So, 2 questions for you. Who is that player for you that you believe in or thinks has to play extremely well with Drake May? And then secondly, what about this team is making them 6 wins better?
All right. Well, that's the player that has to perform really well besides Drake May. It's a trick question because I think Henderson and Stevenson, they're going to have to be monsters out of the backfield. But I also think Diggs is going to have to go
Mm.
back, show that he's still a number one, and he's not lost a step. And then they got to have somebody else step up at wide receiver too, whether it be Kyle Williams, Douglas. I mean, I don't even know who the other ones are, but it's just like a bunch of. It's almost like all their wide receiver twos are kind of the same,
Or
and
just
they're
like
just
we
hoping one of them
named it.
hits. But I mean, everything that you've seen, like I've seen, like Kyle Williams looks like he could be pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty sure his biggest knock coming into the league was just drops. So, I mean, that's a big issue is that you don't want a receiver out there that's just going to drop balls in key moments. Because at this level, you just get ridiculed for it. Ridiculed for it. I mean, just ask Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, well, don't speak ill on the injured, but yeah, it's a good point.
Uh, but yeah, I think they're going to have a great run game. I think it's going to probably,
Oh,
their success is going to revolve around that. And then when it's time to throw, Diggs is going to have to come through and be Diggs of old.
so you just
So
think him being the number 1 receiver will elevate. Now, do you think that's like a realistic thing for Drake Williams? Obviously, we'll do the over under here in a second, but do you think it's realistic that I mean, is it just that he's going to take a big of a step? Because that's a huge improvement from last year. Obviously, they made their defense a little better. You have absolute stud on the outside, Gonzalez at corner. Their defense is really good. Vrabel's presence, just they're going to win those close games. Like, I don't know. This is a big jump in win totals for a team I'm really fond of. Like, all offseason, I've liked the Patriots, but like, well, I don't know.
I mean, the main thing for me that's gonna be a key for Drake May is what version of Hunter Henry he gets. If Hunter Henry can be that reliable check down, or Henderson coming out of the backfield can be reliable, like that's going to be to me the main key piece on top of what your receivers do out in the field. Because anyone knows any young quarterback, they like to check it down in key moments, unless you're another guy that was a rookie last year who just refused to check it down. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
a
And I
watch the
I
last pod.
I love Drake May. I am obsessed with Drake May. I want all the Drake May stock I can for the future. For this season, I do think he takes a step. I don't know that he's going to be like fantasy superstardom or NFL superstardom yet, but I do believe in him. I don't see a world in which he's not a starter for a very long time in this league. That's how much belief I have in him. But my question to you is there anybody in this receiving core or Henderson? He's raising up a little bit. I know I've already drafted him a few times myself. Is there anybody from a fantasy outlook you're looking to target with this Patriot offense, or is it more just people you'd be okay with?
I mean, you mentioned Henderson. If you go the option of just, I don't want a top tight end, and you're telling me I could get like a couple tight ends late just to kind of plug Hunter Henry, I love him with where he's going. Like he's just going so late and almost forgotten
Hmm.
when it comes to tight ends. And receiver, like if Diggs can actually be a wide receiver one and get the love, he's actually going really late for a wide receiver one. So, I mean, if you believe in this team, you believe in Drake May, you would think you believe in Diggs. And if you don't believe in Diggs, it means you're believing one of the other two wide receivers, and they're going super late. So I think it all just kind of goes back to how you feel about Drake May and how you evaluate these players on this team. And I also think, like, I think people are just assuming it's just going to be Henderson's show. And I do not think that's fully what it's going to be. Stevenson's going to have a role in this offense, I think, if they're going to be successful. And it's going to kind of be like a two-back committee.
Yeah, I think that Stevenson certainly will have some role. I just think it'll be much less than I originally thought, where I thought it was going to be close to even. I think Henderson's backfield already. We've seen how electric he is, even when he touches the ball. I don't care about the like, oh, it's just preseason. It doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. When you see somebody get the ball in their hands and be that dynamic, that's going to translate. It doesn't mean he's going to do that every regular season game, but yeah, I'm not really like kind of to contradict what you said. I'm not really like looking for any of these receivers, but I just think Drake May's gonna find the open guys, and I'm not trying to figure out which one it is. I'm just gonna believe in him. So if I can get him as my second or definitely third quarterback, I'm pulling the trigger. So the over/under on this team, again, is at 9.5. And Alexander, seemed like you were slightly positive there. Are you gonna go with the over or under for the New England Patriots at 9.5 wins?
Dude, that's just like Vegas really hit this like line on the head for me. But I'm gonna take the under. I think they can get to 9 wins at most.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubt, I'm going with the over. I love this Patriots team, and even if they win 9 wins, I still think like they probably had a successful and growing season. But looking around the AFC, there's not a lot of teams I have with like really good records, so it made me a little more confident in this. I think, no spoilers, but I'll have about 8, maybe 9 teams that are fighting for a playoff. I think this is legitimately a team that has a chance to make the playoffs this year. And I know that sounds crazy to say a 4-win team from last year with a new head coach. And I do like their draft. I like the pieces they added, really just kind of in the holes that they were missing last year. But I just really, really can't get enough of this team. And honestly, I just want them to win. So that's part of it. But I'm taking the over, and I'm really hoping that I'm right. Now, I'll let you start with the next team because I know there's some parts of this that you really want to discuss.
Yeah, next up is the New York Jets. And I mean, this team it's one of those teams you want to believe in, especially if you just semi believe that Justin Fields can be the guy if giving the proper chance. And the fact that he's reunited with Garrett Wilson, like that's gotta make you feel great if you're a Justin Fields guy or just even a Jets fan. Like I expect there to be chemistry there from the get go, and I think they're gonna ball pretty good. And for the ones that like just talking just fantasy, where they're like Garrett Wilson, he's not gonna do much because he's got Justin Fields. Justin Fields, when he had DJ Moore was a top wide receiver in the league, fantasy wise. And I expect the same for Garrett Wilson. But I also expect Justin Fields is going to be able to be Justin Fields with the New York Jets. I don't think they're going to try to limit him as much as like the Steelers did at times. Like the Steelers every now and then would let him maybe do him, but they kind of had like the reins on him, like they were holding him back a little bit. And he still went 4-2 with them. Granted, I think the Steelers defense is way better than the Jets defense right now.
Yeah.
But the biggest like question mark for me for the Jets is who's going to step up as that second receiver? Who's going to take over the backfield? Like these are big question marks that I just don't feel like they addressed. And I believe in Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is talented, but it's like you keep hearing all these like kind of like whispers and stuff that like the Jets don't believe in him. They believe in Allen, and it's like whoa, like you got a guy like Brees Hall. Like what do you mean you don't believe in him? Like is there something we're not seeing? Because the one year that they let him kind of be him, he was amazing, and then he kind of got hurt, and then it was like they just didn't trust him anymore, and it became a two-back committee. And I mean, I think Allen has potential, but I didn't see that much that really just like popped off the paper for me with Allen last year. That was like, yeah, this dude's it. He's the man. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they drafted a running back as well that I've heard also might be in the mix. So who even knows what they're actually going to do? It's one of those like, I can't wait to see what they look like on the field because I think they could be a really challenging team to play against, or they could be a team you could just blow the doors off of. You don't know what you're going to get at this time. But me personally, like, just believing in Justin Fields, like, I wanna believe in this team, like, to be better than what they were last year, and I just want them to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say that going to a dysfunctional franchise might be, like, best case for Fields, but I think they're just kinda gonna let him be. I don't think they're gonna really look to move off of him. As far as Breece Hall goes, my number one main belief in Breece Hall is just simply that I don't think Braylon Allen's very good at football. But, like, Breece Hall, like, out of his own mouth is like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure that I'm wanted, like, I don't know if they but I'm gonna prove them wrong." Like, I mean, I like his attitude, I guess, but it's like, obviously something is there where they haven't made it clear to him that, like, "Hey, you're our running back for now and forever." So, I don't know if they're just looking to go younger, but, like, I'm gonna say this, Braylon Allen's not it. Sure, clip it, put it where you want, like, he's not good at running the football, and he's definitely not good at being a 3 down back, which you don't have to have anymore. But the point is, when you have Justin Fields, it should elevate your run game, and your number 1 target, which would be Garrett Wilson, is gonna get peppered. He's gonna throw him the ball. I'm not sure how injured Mason Taylor is at tight end, but everyone was really excited for him to jump onto the scene and, be really good. Yes, Justin Fields is not a rookie, but it's first year in a system. A lot of times tight end can elevate quickly. They have good pieces on defense. Sauce Gardner, all pro on the outside. Like, he's gonna lock up somebody. I don't know. I think you're definitely a little higher on this team now, but I don't hate the Jets. I don't really know what they're doing. I think they're doing it the right way of just kind of playing, but also think like best case for them, they just do poorly and get a good draft pick next year. But I know you don't want to hear that from Justin Fields. So, any other remarks as far as anybody on this team? I'm drafting Garrett Wilson in fantasy anytime I can. I'm not scared off. Yes, the touchdown numbers may be lower, but he's gonna be a top 2. I mean, like, a wide receiver 2 at worst case, and maybe even jump up into the top 12 being a wide receiver 1, but he's gonna get targets, he's gonna get receptions, and I think he's actually good. I
Uh,
don't really know else.
what I was gonna ask you is, with, like, the whispers and stuff, like, would you draft Breece Hall if you're doing a fantasy draft and he's, like, there?
Probably not, but right now, there's such negativity around him that everybody's like, "I don't wanna draft a guy that it seems obvious he's gonna be phased out," but, like, I mean, if the value's right at a certain point, it's like, I mean, would I rather have Breece Hall or this other running back that's a clear running back 2 for a team that I know doesn't have a path apart from injury, and even then, they're probably gonna be in a committee with whoever their 3rd string is. I'd rather take Breece Hall than that, and that's, like, where he's falling to in some of the drafts and mocks that I've done, which is crazy.
But, like, let's say, like, it's just all been whispers and it's not true. With what you see out of this, like, receiving core, Breece Hall could be extremely great in fantasy, not just running the ball, but involved in the passing game. I mean, if they use him right, he could literally probably win people fantasy leagues because so many people just got out on him because they heard the whispers and rode with it. He's one of the
Yeah,
most,
well,
like, I think could be game changing, like, players. Like, you get him and you kinda could waste a pick, or you get him and it's like the steal of the draft.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he'd generate much trade interest or teams would be hitting up the Jets. I mean, out of his own mouth, he's like, "Yeah, I understand, like, these aren't the people that necessarily wanted me here," but at the end of the day, if he produces early on, they it's not gonna matter what they said early, like, they're gonna play if he's successful. It seems like they don't really it's just weird, it's very weird. Like you
Yeah,
said, backfield, receiver room, it's kinda like Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, and, like, who wants to step up today? Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, you're right, Breece Hall has league-winning upside if you get him super late, and he's even a RB2, he's getting drafted way below that now, like, he could be a great steal. I'm just probably not doing that, it's not typically my philosophy.
Over and under is set at 6.5. What you taking?
Oh, that's such a low line. I mean, they could win 2 more games than they're over and still have below 500 year. They gotta play 2 games against the Patriots, who you already know I'm high on, and they gotta play 2 games against the Bills, who I'm already high on. So it makes it very tough for the New York Jets to get to that 7-win mark. I do like their defense. They're, I think, upper half of the entire NFL, really, especially if they're healthy and they can generate a little more pass rush. But can I see them getting to 7 wins? You know what? I can. I'm gonna go over with the Jets. Yeah, no spoilers, but they're not making the playoffs for me. But I am gonna take their over. I like the challenge of that. They start off, get a couple wins early on. I'll be feeling good. So, what about you, Alexander? New York Jets win total is 6.5. You got over under on this.
I mean, to me, this line feels low. I think they easily get 7 wins,
Oh,
but I think I just believe in this team, bro. It's like a team that, like, when you're looking at it on paper like this, like, should I believe in them? But I do. Like, I feel like the defense is there to keep them in games, and then you're telling me Justin Fields gets to go out there and just be an X factor and possibly win the game for him? But that's where I believe in Fields. If you don't believe in Fields, you're probably like, yeah, he's going to go out there and lose the game for him.
so we've had a long time feud, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, of Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence. And, spoiler for the AFC South, which was the first episode we recorded. I did have the Jags finishing second, and you had them last, but I took the under on them also. So it's possible they both end up with 8 wins, but I wish I wouldn't have done that just to make a bet with you, Jags versus Jets. So maybe we can do that on a separate thing. So just remind me to bring that up. So let us know, who would you rather have as your quarterback in 2025, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence for your team? So, all right, Alexander, I'm gonna let you intro the next team as well, because this is a team that we talked about having question marks at positions. The entire vibe and culture. You got people showing up late for practice. You got people just not going to meetings. You got guys, superstars requesting trades and then trying to go back. And then the quarterback who can't play more than 4 games without getting concussed saying, nah, man, you can't just be saying that and walk right back up here. It's absolute chaos. You got a head coach who probably has more clips of the shoes he wears and just hitting the vape on the sideline than you do actually, like, getting on to somebody. I don't know what is going on with Miami. They can't win in the cold. They say it's not real. It seems like there's 75 different storylines of why this won't be a good football team, but they kinda are still talented. So, I'm gonna let you break down the actual players and give your thought, for the Miami Dolphins this year. What is going on in Miami?
Yeah. Miami is, how do I want to put this? They are the poor man's version of the Cincinnati Bengals to me. Like, their defense, to me, I think is going to be awful this year. So then they're trying to rely on an offense that, when fully healthy, can hang with the best of offenses. But unlike most offenses, they might be like the biggest injury prone team ever like assembled. Like you said, Tua, one hit away from possibly never playing in the NFL again. Waddle constantly gets hurt. Like, that's a guy like I believed in coming in when he came into the NFL, and then it's like he like as soon as he starts seeming like he's getting something together, he gets hurt. And then Tyreek Hill, like last year, was not the Tyreek Hill of old. And then Achan, like, when healthy, is elite, but that's another key thing, like, when healthy. And then what? Their backup, right? Like, he couldn't even stay healthy last year. So then they're turning it over to Ollie Gordon, who is their third running back, who I think can be great in this league. Like, I think people forget how good he was in college, but he also got injured in college, like, constantly. Like, and then you go to tight end, and they're bringing a guy that, like, retired and is coming out of retirement. Like, basically took, what, a year or 2 out of the league
I mean,
and had a
more than
rap
that, dude.
career? Like,
More than that,
I
yeah,
don't
like public breakup and divorce and all. I don't know the full storyline of that. Sorry, I don't subscribe to TMZ. But I mean, this team actually, dude. I mean, you're talking about, like, Ollie Gordon was going to be a number one running back in the draft, and then he stays another year and instantly falls. Just no production, couldn't fully be himself. Now, I will say at the time of recording this, there's been no, like, movement on this, but they are one of the teams that's rumored for Brian Robinson to trade from Washington. Apparently, Washington decided towards the end of the preseason just to say, "Hey, our starting running back's available." Really weird move by them. I don't know if they just saw something in practice from the younger guys, but regardless, maybe Brian Robinson adds some stability behind Achan, because Achan's clearly the running back there. But so maybe they trade for him if they really believe they're in. It's just like they don't have clear direction. They have veterans, and their youth is, like, not being led well, obviously. I don't, and, like, I'm not making this an NFC East pod, so I'll save that for next episode. But everything you hear from the Eagles, even the team we're about to talk about, the Bills, the Ravens, really even the Steelers for the most part, like these teams that have good infrastructure just don't have these issues. And not only do these issues come out, it's way more likely they come out whenever things are not going well. So, like if the Dolphins had won 8 in a row, I don't think anybody's talking about that Tyreek showed up 2 hours late for a meeting, or they had to go home for practice 3 times, and one of them said his house was burning down on live TV. Like, this is literally the most drama soap opera, and I guess it's just Miami. I don't know. It seems like vibes are really low, but I'd be lying if I said I don't like a lot of this team.
Yeah, I mean, like fantasy wise, like we kind of talked about it. Like if they're healthy, like these are fantasy players you want. And then like they're going lower than where they possibly like their ceiling is because due to the injury concerns. So if you get them and they stay healthy, you just got to still with where you're getting them at with where they're going.
Yeah, and
So
I will say as far as fantasy aspect, here's where I'm at with the Dolphins. Achan, I have in a keeper league, and I kept him because I think he does have long-term upside as well as short-term. But, like, I'm not targeting him in redrafts. And then you go to wide receiver. Not only is it a threat for them to get hurt, if two is hurt, that drastically changes how the receivers will look. Now, I do love Quinn Ewers as a future prospect. I don't know if he steps on the field this year, but I'm just saying it's not the craziest thing to think, "Oh, he can throw some slants to Jalen Waddle and he still gets some PPR points." But the point is, because of all these things, like, I'll lead the way with this. And what's their line? Because I know where I'm leaning now.
it's at 8.5.
Oh, that's so low. I mean, so, like, again, but I'm going with the under. I feel like I would feel like a fool if I see all the warning signs. Trust me, been there before in life. You see all the warning signs of how things could go bad, and you just ignore it because of the good times. And you end up sitting there recording late night on a podcast with, wait, what? I'm sorry, got a little personal there. But in all seriousness, I can't pick the over on this team. If I'm wrong about this team, I will feel zero remorse because all the signs there for me to take the under. And maybe that's why you should take the over. So I'm going to ask you, Alexander, Miami Dolphins, 2025, 8.5 is their win total. Over or under for this team?
I mean, the way I look at it is one of our like good friends is a Dolphins fan,
Yeah.
and
Shouts out.
he doesn't like even believe in what they're trying to do right now. And so why should I give me the under? I can't. There's just too many big question marks that I feel like didn't get addressed during the offseason to make me want to believe in this team.
Yeah, I mean, when your head coach can't keep people accountable and your star receiver is having to publicly apologize to a quarterback who's saying, "Nah, it ain't gonna work that easy," why should we? And every other day is a running back getting onto the injury report. Yeah, it seems crazy. So we're probably both wrong on them. They're probably gonna win like 11 games. Um, I wish I would have went different you on the Jets because now I feel like our over under is gonna be the same as this episode. Um, or at least it was for the first three. The Bills obviously have a higher one, but looks like you had one more thought there.
Well, I was just going to ask you if they go under 8.5, like we both predicted, does that mean like Mike McDaniels is gone?
I think the only way he's not gone, weirdly enough, is like, and here's why I don't believe in the team, and also why our friend doesn't. Shouts out to D Fletch. I just don't trust Tua's health. Like, and if you don't trust his health, you got to depend on a backup to win. I mean, dude, we've seen some crazy quarterbacks starting games for the Dolphins. They're picking up people from the practice squad and starting, and this wasn't like COVID times. This was last season. I mean, I don't remember if it was definitely a primetime game. I think they completed like 11 passes out of like 30, it felt like. It was awful. It was literally one of the worst games I've watched all year, and they still almost won. Like, it was just a terrible experience. But they're called soft a lot, and I think that's kinda true. Whether that means, like, they're not a physical team, I don't know about, but they're just soft with how they conduct themselves, and I think the only way he keeps his job is, like, if Tua gets hurt early and he somehow convinces ownership of like, "Hey, let's have a different vision and move off of him." But that's the thing when you're a head coach and you stand behind a quarterback and you completely co-sign and you're fully with them, you can live with him, but you also can get cut with him. So, what about you? You think he's going to be there next year?
I don't. I think they'll end up moving on from him. I think he showed what his vision could do when everything's going right, and it looks great. But
I mean, he dropped
when
70.
when it's not going right, it's just not fun football to get behind and watch. And then when you're wanting to bring, I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to bring your bills get paid by fans showing up to your games. It's tough.
Yeah, I will say this though. I think if he is fired this year, and this probably isn't a hot take, I think he's an offensive coordinator somewhere next season. I think
Oh
maybe
yeah.
some guys just can't be the head honcho, but it's weird because it's like I don't know how you get that to change. It seems like there's a lot of players that were there that just weren't going to be like that. We didn't hear about reports like this. Tyreek in Kansas City, maybe he didn't care. He got paid, whatever. But it wasn't just Tyreek for the record. This was like a regular occurrence. There was no, and so that does start with a head coach. You know, teams have leadership councils and things with position groups, but maybe he's just not meant to be a head coach. Well, let me ask you this then. How good do you think they have to do for him to be the head coach?
I almost feel like it's kind of got to the point where they're going to have to make the playoffs and they're going to have to win a playoff game for him to stay. Like,
Okay.
that's how hot I think his seat is.
Yeah, I think if they're a playoff team and it's competitive and there's like a, then he might can stay. But if it's missed the playoffs, I think he's for sure out. And I think if he gets blown out in the playoffs, especially like they have to go to Kansas City or go somewhere cold and they just get killed again, it's like, what's the point? The AFC, I mean, we'll go over in the playoff fight. The top is really, 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 really strong and only getting better. But there's a lot of beatable teams in that conference, I think. So they should be better than what they are, and that comes down to coaching. So, but I don't dislike the guy. I think a lot of people think he's a joke. I know, especially Dolphins fans, but I value his play calling so much. But and I mean, just honestly, throw those little Texas routes or underneath little curls from the running back. Just throw it to Achane every single time. They're in a little HB toss. I mean, just give him the ball, dude. Sorry, fantasy. Um, I do like Waddle though. I like where Waddle's getting drafted. I forgot to say that. So, um, really quickly, one last thing on the Dolphins. Are you even excited to watch Darren Waller? I feel like it's like a weird like. Do we care that Darren? I feel like no one cares that Darren Waller's on the Dolphins.
I think it's interesting because, I mean, we saw when he was playing, he was a legit great offensive, like,
Was he
tight
that?
end to have. I mean, I felt like he was. I mean,
Look at
maybe
his
I'm
last
just,
But, like, think about his last few seasons with the Giants. It was just constantly underwhelming.
yeah, but think about the situation he was in.
Okay? I don't know. I mean, I guess respect to Darren Waller. Hope he's doing well. All right. Now the big bad bullies of the league. Take us there, Alexander.
Oh, next up, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, this team, like, they didn't lose any of their, like, key pieces really, and it just it's gonna be tough. Like, this division, they basically kinda ran through them all last year, so with them not losing key pieces, it's gonna be tough to take them out. I mean, the one thing, like, and it was kinda like last year, my biggest takeaway was I didn't believe in their receivers, and I believe in Shakir, and I believe in Coleman's potential, but it's still like they're missing that main wide receiver one, I feel like. Like, if they had that, like, it could be to the moon. But I get it. Do they need that? They went 13-4 last year without it, with this exact almost same receiving core. I mean, I get they had what, Cooper, I think, last year for a bit.
Yeah, but that was kind of a letdown. I mean, I just want to say, like, it to me, it's not like do they need it. It's more like last year, why I think it was so huge for the Buffalo Bills, especially now that they've committed to James Cook as well to make this really true. They found their identity. Like, they're not gonna run the ball as much as, like, the Eagles are or the, Ravens are, but they're a rushing football team. Not just with Allen, but with James Cook, they have the touchdown. They get Ray Davis some touches as well. Like, there's physicality to this football team that I don't think gets respected enough, that it's almost like the fan base has became the team. I know that sounds really weird, but, like, they just wanna bully you. Like, there were games where Josh Allen his numbers, I mean, the same reason people argued he shouldn't have won MVP, because he just didn't throw it a ton. When the game was over, he's handing it off, he's running. Like, they became a physically bullying team, and their defense did get better as the year got on. And then you see some plays in the Chiefs game where it's just like, "What are we doing?" So I think they'll shore that up a little. They do bring Tre'Davious White back after having a very lackluster year away from the team for a season. Yeah, I don't know about the receiver situation. I'm just kinda like, is Josh Allen, he'll figure it out, but I think eventually they're gonna wanna add somebody there, but it was kinda like addition by subtraction. They lost Diggs and Allen became better.
Yeah. To me, like, the main piece that I want to see perform better this year than last year for them is Dalton Kincaid.
Mm,
Like, last year was very weird. I mean, I get he was going through some stuff, but it was almost like he kind of disappeared from the offense at times. And then the year prior, he was like great, a great
yeah.
focal point. Like, and I just don't know what flipped between that year. Like, hopefully it was just injury and he just fully wasn't him. And if he can go back to the guy he was 2 years ago, that could be a huge key piece for them to have back rolling.
Completely agree. I think that's a great point because he is that, like, little versatile kinda he's not gonna completely just dominate you with his physical presence, but he was getting open, he's making catches, and last year it's kinda like he was just sometimes it just felt like he just went missing, and it's like, "Alright,
Yeah.
gotta get Kincaid the ball," and, like, Josh mostly made smart plays and made the right decision, but it's like, "Come on, man, let's get him a little more involved in the offense," and, yeah, I don't see any of these receivers I really see taking that step as a number 1, so that's a good call by you. And now that James Cook has the money, like, hopefully they use him a little more, a little more versatile. There were some times where, he'd have 3 touchdowns and they'd be like, "Alright, you're good for the day." Which again was a good problem for them to have, but this team is just solid all around. I don't know if there's any weaknesses you really wanna address or talk about. Obviously, the biggest one is, did other teams improve more than them? Well, no, we'll get into the playoff pod where we see them overall, but obviously, I like the Patriots way better this year than last year. You like the Jets more than you did last year. We both kinda feel the same about the Dolphins, but realistically, are any of these teams good enough for the Bills not to win what is their over-under, like 12 probably? Did it move up a little?
12 and a half.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, they can only lose 4 games. I'm fine moving there if you are.
Yeah,
It's
I'm fine moving there. Do you want
again
me to go first or you?
I do wanna say one last thing about the Bills because if you didn't watch my quarterback tiers video, that's fine. Let me just make this very clear. I love Josh Allen. I am obsessed with watching him play football. He's actually insane from the fact of he couldn't throw accurately his first year, gets Dable coach to teach him how to throw accurately, and now he just throws dots. He's physical, he'll run you over, he'll run past you. He seems just like a genuinely good dude. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, envy someone's life, but, like, he might be the answer. Like, he is really that elite, elite, elite to me just as a football player, and he's a quarterback. Like, that's how I view him, because he can throw just as well. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I did say that. I didn't wanna brush over. Sometimes we talk about the really good teams, we don't talk as much about them, but, yeah, I just had to get that off my chest because I need everyone to know how much I love Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah. Josh Allen's elite. I mean, you could argue maybe the best quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to just get the clickbait of, some of the people I see doing that, and it's like, "Oh, well, who would you take right now?" It's like, well, maybe the guy who's literally made the AFC Championship every single year as a starter and never missed it and has 3 Super Bowls and been to 5 like, I mean, look, I love Josh Allen, but he's not sorry. Back to what we were saying, I interrupted myself.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah, you go first. That's a huge line.
Yeah, that line to me seems high. I'm going the under.
So again, they can still win 11, 12, or 10, 11 games and still 10, 11, or 12 games and still make it and still win the division. But for me, I'm going to go with the over. Their schedule is actually, it seems, the way it's set up and the lack of travel and where they play. And, at our last live draft, I was talking to our buddy that's a huge Bills fan. And I'll be honest, he completely influenced me on this. I thought they were going to win about 12 games. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you, bet it, bet 12, bet 13, bet 14, bet all of them. You'll cash in on everyone. Didn't do that responsibly. But the point is, I'm buying in, and they're just, if they lose a game more often than not, it's because they lost the game, not because they got beat. And that's just how I view them. So, yeah, that's the AFC East. We'll do our final breakdown. Right now, before we even do it, comment what you think and comment what you think we think, because this one might be the easiest one for us to predict based on how we talked about the teams, where in the past that may not have been the case. Alexander, AFC East 2025 predictions.
All right. For 2025 AFC East, in fourth place, I have the Miami Dolphins. In third place, I have the New England Patriots. In second place, I have the New York Jets. And in first place, I have the Buffalo Bills. Sorry, that took me a minute. I had second and third. It's just so tight to me. I literally could see them finishing with the same record.
I mean, I wish I would have took the over on the Jets at this point. Like, I really might change.
What?
Because, like, all right, so here's where my brain is, okay? And again, here I am ruining the clip of us saying it together. If I took the under on the Dolphins and the over on the Jets, it still could be Jets with 7 wins, Dolphins with 8 wins, and Jets finish last. So, like, I'm thinking, do I really want to try and thread the needle that much? But you picking the Patriots to finish third is so disrespectful when you have the Jets beating them that I don't want any, like, stock in the Jets anymore. Like, you're making me want to cheer against Justin Fields. I mean, give me Drake May over Justin Fields every single day of the week. I mean, and give me Mike Vrabel over whoever the Jets coach is going to be in 3 years, because it's not going to be the same one. I guess I need to pick the division, right?
Yeah. Do I need to redo mine since I paused?
I mean, you can redo it, yeah, just to make the clip easier, because nobody's going to watch this part anyways. But let me just say, can I change my over-under? Like, even though I said it earlier?
No, it's on there.
Okay.
All right. In 2025, the AFC East, I have in fourth place the Miami Dolphins. In third place, I have the New England Patriots. In second place, I have the New York Jets. And in first place, I have the Buffalo Bills.
My AFC East prediction for 2025, in fourth place, I have the Miami Dolphins. In third place, I have the New York Jets. In second place, I have the New England Patriots. And in first place, I have the Buffalo Bills.
What happened, bro? It's like, froze up.
I really don't believe what I just said is what happened. I'm just basically predicting that the Dolphins are gonna have the absolute worst season possible. Well, like, the Dolphins are better than the Jets. Let's make a secondary little, friendly little conversation. Give me the Dolphins wins versus the Jets wins straight up.
I'll take it.
All right, good deal. I mean, that's the thing. Like, yeah, my prediction will be wrong, but I didn't believe that. I should have tried to thread the needle. That'd have been so sick.
Why didn't you thread the needle, bro?
Because, like, Tua. That's why. Like, ultimately. All right. That's enough little post show. I'm going to end this episode the same way we're ending all the division breakdown episodes, maybe the rest of all the episodes, who knows? And that's going to give Alexander 30 seconds to a minute to discuss anything near and dear to his heart, whatever he wants to talk about. Alexander, 30 seconds to a minute. What's on your mind? Go.
I mean, with this time, I just want to say, give me all the hate you got. I get it. I just picked the New York Jets finish second. I don't care. I told you, I think second and third, they could end up in a tie. But at the end of the day, there's something about this Jets team. I think they're getting overlooked. I think people are just writing them off already. And I think people's forgetting. This team, they've showed prior to last year, they had some grit. But with that being said, we are hogging off, Piglets.